revisiting the case of a well-known Houston dentist who killed her husband after she caught him cheating. The case was caught on camera in July of 2002. It made national headlines. We're talking about Clara Harris. KPRC2 investigator Amy Davis is working on our first episode of The Evidence Room. She's joining us now. I know you were able to track down Clara Harris, who is now out of prison.
Yeah, which is sort of the whole reason why I wanted to be involved in this episode of The Evidence Room, because we knew that she was released from prison in 2018, but then she had 5 years of parole after that to finish her sentence. And she went off of that parole, served all of her time as of February. So we looked her up.
February of this year.
February of this year, so just recently. So we looked her up, knocked on her door, explained The Evidence Room, this docu-series, and sort of what it is that we do, and we go through cold cases, old cases, not cold cases. Right. Cases that have already been prosecuted, and look in that evidence box and go through the stuff. And you know, whenever I sat down and talked with her, she was like, oh, she was like, well, what's in my box?
What was her reaction when you showed up and you introduced yourself? You told her about this episode. What was her reaction?
Well, she seemed surprised that obviously I knocked on her door, and I said, you know, after sitting and talking to her for I was talking to her for about an hour, maybe a little more than an hour. I said, I mean, I can't be the first reporter who's reached out to you to try to talk with you since you've served your time. And she said, well, you are the first reporter to knock on my door.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Well, this was a case that captivated all of Houston and really the nation.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there was not a Lifetime, but a similar type, you know, a movie made about the events. And, you know, obviously when that happens, there's a lot of dramatic fiction parts that go into it. And so I just wanted to talk to her, one, about the whole story, about exactly what happened. And then sort of as a mom, she had twin boys when this happened.
How old were they at the time?
They were 4.
Oh, so they were young.
And she served 20 years in prison, so they're just now turning 25 years old. She's remained very close to them. And I just, you know, I'm curious too, as a mother who obviously, what version of the events you believe went down. I'm wondering how, 25 years later, now 65 years old, what is her state of mind? How did all of this play out sort of in her life? What does she wish she would have done differently? In the end, she did think about speaking with us, and she asked, like, well, what if I talked to you not on camera? Could we just use my voice? And we said we'd be willing to do that. And then in the end, we never got that far. But we were able to use all of my conversation with her and her description of some of the things that we found in the box for this episode. So that's what you'll see tonight. And it's very just interesting to me, anyway, being in news, and I think a lot of people looking back on these old cases. We have from the night that this originally happened, the news story that first came out, and you can kind of see that. This was 2002.
Could you tell us if you did this and why you did it?
It was an accident.
It was what?
It was an accident.
Lake Jackson dentist Clara Harris did not mean to run over her husband repeatedly in the parking lot of a Clear Lake hotel, she says. This after she found Dr. David Lynn Harris in the lobby with a female ex-coworker.
I don't know if she'd caught him, if it was just mere suspicion as to why she hired him.
Harris told police she hired a private eye to track her husband. Nassau Bay PD responded to a domestic disturbance in the lobby of the Hilton. However, the fight had moved to the parking lot. Harris's 16-year-old daughter, seen in this picture with her dad and twin half-brothers, witnessed her stepmother run the wheels of her Mercedes over her dad several times.
It seems to be that kind of more of a circle type motion.
I can't believe it. Not him.
Patients of the Space Center orthodontists are stunned by the murder of the young doctor.
I would have never expected anything like this to happen. Thought to myself, what? Is this the right Dr. Harris, you know, that I used to work with? It was unbelievable.
The Harrises, both dentists by trade, lived at this Friendswood estate between the two practices. She worked at the Lake Jackson office. He worked in Nassau Bay.
Wow, fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, so both obviously very well known in the community. Yeah. A lot of people are already commenting on our social media posts about like, oh my gosh, he was my orthodontist or my dentist, and I remember this so well. So we hope that you tune in and maybe learn something new, at least sort of catch up on what I thought was a very intriguing case.
Yeah, absolutely. Driven to Kill airs tonight exclusively right here on the KPRC 2+ live stream.